Can you tell me your name, age, the date, and where we are?
My name is Winfield Tillett. I'm 66 years old. Today's date is December 1st, 2012, and we are at my home in Los Angeles.
How has your life been different than what you imagined?
I don't think it's different. I think that if I had it to do all over again, I would live it the same way.
Okay. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the village of Crooked Tree, where my father, my grandfather, mother, and grandmother were born and grew up.
And who else lived with you guys?
We had a family of 7 sisters and 7 brothers.
Was that hard?
Not really. We had a team. It was very nice to have a full team of guys to play with, and our sisters, they get along well too, of course. Some of us grow up ahead of others, and the older ones, they stick together more than the younger ones.
So that leads into a question, what was your childhood like? Was it enjoyable?
Very enjoyable. We had wide open spaces to play, and since we lived in an inland village island, we all go to the same school. The whole village kids go to the same school. So we were never out of friends. And teachers and students alike, everybody is like one big family, like a village family.
And what was it like living on a farm?
It is different from living out here and from today's day of living back in the same village now. Living on the farm then, everybody, or the whole family, stick together. Everybody help pitch in and try to provide for each other. Since we were a big family, from a very young age, we had to help providing for the family by planting and growing our own food. We had to do chores around the house, and very little time to play after all. After all that school homework and everything, very little time to play. We had to rush and get through our chores in order to get time out to play in the evenings.
So what was your job on the farm?
Oh, I plant, weed, grow, and dressed our own like rice crop, like corn crops, and a number of other vegetables and so on that we grow for home consumption and for sale. So it was like every other kid in the village. That's boys and girls help with the farm and do the same stuff.
Who are your favorite relatives?
My brothers that we follow like right behind each other, and we were like are still like very supportive crew. Um, Up to now, we are close as we were when we were back as little kids growing up.
How did you and Grandma meet?
Well, we met in Belize City. Um, she was walking down the swing bridge, and I followed her, and we got in contact with each other. And it went from there.
So, how'd your family like her and stuff?
Well, my my dad and mom, well, everybody liked her. They look upon her as a member of the family, and still do. Uh, she didn't have big problem with in-laws or people like that. And I'm glad, because I try not to judge my in-laws either. I just try to get along with everybody.
Do you remember how the wedding was?
Yep. We had a pretty good sized wedding. I was in the police force, and of course I had the biggest policeman in the force. Structural policeman in the force as the guy who stand by my side, and one of the most influential guy was the master of ceremonies at the wedding. Joyce have her, my wife Joyce have her good friend stand for her, and her daddy came all the way from America to Belize to play his saxophone for and sing for her at the wedding. Her daddy played in a band from way back, and he was there for that occasion and played at her wedding ceremony.
And was my mom well behaved?
Ah, yeah. Very well behaved still. We have been married for over 40 years now, and we're still together.
And what's your ethnic background?
In Belize, they call it Creole, just like in Louisiana. And that's more or less like black here in America.
Where's your mom and dad from?
Both of them are from Cookie Tree Village. Their parents lived there too. And that is how they got to know each other. They went to the same school and everything. So.
What traditions have you passed down in your family?
So, say it again.
What traditions have you passed down in your family?
Well, to be family supportive, to try to do your best in school, get educated, and try to be truthful, fair-minded, and get along with people without being too judgmental, since you don't own your own life. Your life can be taken away from you just like that. So if you are good to people, you'll be in the good books. at the end.
Is there any special Belizean type of traditions or cultures you brought, like music or anything?
There's a lot of Belizean tradition and culture that is different from here in America. Way back, you had the main thing in music is boom and chime, where people use anything that they can get their hands on that make a sound as music. Sing-along music. And Christmas is spent by people going from house to house and share in their friends' preparation for Christmas. Like, for instance, you would go to your friend's house and they will serve you food, and when you're hungry, you just go on for days and eat from other people. Sometimes your dad would leave home on one day and you don't see him for 2-3 days.
And you just eating and...
They go and they have fun, they play music with like get together music, sing serenades and drink, and they were just dropping home on the way to somebody else's house. So that's how it was. Everybody, when they get enough or get drunk, they just stop off where they're at and join the crowd later. That's the way how Christmas is spent there, as well as New Year's.
Oh, sounds fun. A lot of food. What year did you come here?
I came here in January 1980.
Was it difficult leaving your home?
Not really. I had just come back from studying in London, and I had like 110 days vacation, and I decided to spend it here in America. I came over without any problem, legally of course, and I eventually brought over my wife and my daughter, your mom. She was probably about 9 or 10 years old. And we settled in. Eventually got her citizenship, anything like that.
So how was it in London?
Cold, windy, interesting. Been to all the palaces over there. Watched the changing of the guards at Buckingham Palace. While I was there, it was sort of mandatory that every week you get a tour to a new tourist site, free of cost, of course, because I was on a government scholarship.
So it was like a training or something?
Yeah. Yeah. It was in the Ministry of Defense, and there you have special clearance to go everywhere.
And my mom says if you wouldn't have went here, you would have went to London? Is that true?
Yeah, but I was scheduled to go back to London in February 1980. But I decided to come out, take my vacation and come out this side, and I never got back to Belize until after I get my papers straight. Since then I've been going quite often.
That would have been fun if I was British or something. Was Belize